I
Yes,
thought
you are.
that I thought that it was like a scam or something. I didn't think it was real because this whole process has been so stressful. I was like, no, they're pulling my leg. This isn't it. So. My name is Crystal. I'm initially from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the United States, and I'm an online content creator.
And I'm Dominic. I'm an artist, and I'm a citizen of Canada.
So how we initially met, we met online.
Through our jobs.
Through our jobs. I'm a
content
broadcaster.
creators.
I'm a broadcaster on Twitch.tv, and I am an online content creator outside of that as well. But that's just where I mainly am. And I came across his channel about
Arts, I guess.
Yeah, it was 4 years ago, I think. Yeah, it was actually, we're coming up on 4 years of meeting online. After a whole year and a half of long distance relationship, I decided I wanted to come and move here.
Yeah,
And
we visited a few times.
Yeah,
in Pittsburgh.
well, in the year and a half that we were long distance relationship, we were seeing each other, plane flight here, plane flight over there. Eventually, we just decided that I was going to move here, and he was okay with sponsoring me to live here permanently. Whenever I initially came to Ottawa, I found the O'Lallery immigration office, and they were able to help me get permanent residency here and also extend my visitor status during the process, because I wasn't aware initially that I had to keep applying to extend my visitor stay. So they applied with both of those, they helped with both of those processes. We ended up choosing the O'Lallery Law Office because we Googled it online. He Googled it specifically because I was too stressed to look it up. So
I was just looking for just type the best law firm for immigration, and they came up as one of like the 3 best firms. And yeah, we contacted them. They were really nice.
It was a big relief because they were so willing to take us in at the time, because I was very, very, very stressed out. So yeah, they
responded quickly too.
Yeah, they were very responsive. So as soon as we called, they were like, sure, come up to our office, let's talk about it, let's get this process started. I'm like, that's great. But yeah, simple Google search. So some of the hardships that we were facing during this whole process was the amount of paperwork that is needed for that. So being as thorough and as detailed, going through all of our past records of all of our old conversations and all of our trips that we made together whenever we were long distance, getting records of our plane rides, like him coming to visit me in Pittsburgh, me going to visit him in Montreal. So that was like probably the biggest stress, was making sure that we hit all of our notes.
Yeah, it's easy to make a little mistake, just writing the wrong thing.
Yeah, we were so nervous about doing like one little step wrong, because we've heard that's all it takes, and you can send like a 300-page book into immigration, but like having one thing wrong, they'll say no to you. So yeah, it's why we decided to just like hire lawyers.
Yeah,
so
it was a huge relief.
So that we could have the relief and feel a lot more comfortable that we didn't make like a tiny little mistake that would end up resulting in a negative response. What was really great though about the lawyers was that they gave us a very detailed list on what things we needed to grab. So, grab this and this and this, and then if you're able to do this, and then what I also especially liked were they gave us like some backup safety nets. So at one point he told us that in case something goes wrong or they ask you for information later, just do this, like do this specific thing, and then whenever they approach you later, you'll have it ready. So that sort of thing is, it was very comforting through all of the stress of all the things that we needed to get and achieve for sending in the application initially. The process started for us whenever I initially moved here for the first time. It was in beginning of July of 2018. Yeah, so it was like July 2018, so that was like 2 years, almost and a half ago. And that's whenever like I initially moved, and then we were starting our common law process. So we had to live together for 12 months before officially applying. So we lived together for a year, and then after that, waited for another year to get the response after sending in the application, which takes a year to get a response.
You sent like 2 extended applications, I think.
Yeah, so I extended my visitor visa twice in that process, and then a third time in the middle of the process too. And then we got approved yesterday, October 26th. So we just got approved yesterday. So I'm still emotional. But yeah, after roughly 2.5 years of waiting, a year of living together so we can start the process, and then once we send it in a year and a half later, delayed due to COVID. I don't think it was supposed to take that long, but you know, it is what it is. And
well, it's a big relief.
Yeah, as of yesterday, I can breathe again. I got an email from the Ololere office, and then I also got an email directly from the government,
which was in French.
Which was in French.
And you couldn't read it, so she had me read it. So it was like, you're accepted. Are you sure?
I thought that it was like a scam or something. I didn't think it was real because this whole process has been so stressful. I was like, no, they're pulling my leg. This isn't it. So I first had him read the email because it was in French and I can't read it. So he was like, yeah, it says you're approved. And I'm like, okay, but where does it say fake out?
No, it's all real. And then she just started crying.
I was just shaking and crying for so long. The best part for me, personally, so I was in denial. I got the email and I didn't think it was real for hours. But then 2 hours later, after I'm like still in denial through this whole thing, they actually called me. So the law office called me and they were like, congratulations, it is real. Because I had sent him an email freaking out. And he's like, yes, congratulations, it's real. You are a permanent resident as of today. And I'm just, at that point, I finally felt the relief getting the confirmation from the lawyer. So that was like especially the really sweet part because it felt very personable, just having that phone call confirming what was happening after all of the anxiety and me thinking it was a scam. So yeah, that phone call was really, really sweet. It was exactly what I needed. So yeah. The relief is unreal. I was crying for about 3 hours and I didn't even know how to celebrate. I didn't know what to do. Yeah. I'm still, because this just happened yesterday, so I'm still
we still have to celebrate.
yeah and I still don't know how to react. Like I'm like, oh my, it doesn't feel real.
You sent an email to the whole family too?
Yeah,
my family, your family,
told everybody, everybody the good news, and just still doesn't feel real. It really doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
I wasn't always optimistic about this whole process. There was definitely highs and lows. Like I'll have 1 week where I'm like optimistic, like, oh yeah, it's gonna turn out great because we have a lawyer, we have the comfort. So honestly, it was the thought in the back of my head that, you know, we had lawyers that were on our side, and even if we had a negative response, they would fight for us. So that was the only thing that was keeping me optimistic for a really long time. Just having that comfort of knowing that it's like slightly more in my hands because we have the lawyers who are fighting for us too. I personally would definitely absolutely recommend Ololere Law Office. Like it was so nice having very personable lawyers, because the idea of getting a lawyer, especially, like, I feel young. I feel like I am too young to be dealing with all this, like, grown-up stuff, really. And, like, it was very intimidating because, like, when you think of, lawyers, I don't know, the thought process is just really intimidating. Yeah. But it was great meeting them in person, and the Ololere, like, I literally cannot recommend it enough because
they're 2 brothers, they're super nice.
Yeah, like, so personable, and I felt like, I felt great knowing that I could just call them anytime if I ever had any doubts. Yeah. Just so much comfort, especially for me that has, like, I'm a person that has a lot of anxiety, so I cannot recommend it enough. Seriously, I can't stress enough, like, how the personable aspect of it was probably the best part. Yeah. Just, we feel like we really matter, and that was the best. Like, they really want us to be successful. They want the best for their clients, and that reassurance really felt great. It felt like, you know, I belong here. They want me to belong here.
Mm-hmm.
It was wonderful. If I had to say anything to the lawyers specifically, like, oh, endless thank yous. Like,
yeah, thank you from both of us.
Oh my gosh, from both of us. Like, just
they made it so easy.
They made
less
it
stressful.
Yeah, they made it so easy. Took most of my stress away. Of course, you can't take away all the stress, but the majority of my stress felt so relieved. Just having the backup, knowing that I could contact them anytime. Like, really endless thank yous to Olulere. Like, absolutely. Wow. It's just, it's so comforting. I don't even know how to. Thank you is like never enough. Like,
yeah.
Really, I don't feel like it'll ever be enough to say in this situation.
I'm just happy we ended up getting a lawyer for sure.
Yeah, and I'm really happy specifically that we found them specifically.
Yeah, they were the best.
That yeah. It was an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't always optimistic about this whole process. There was definitely highs and lows. Like, I'll have one week where I'm like optimistic, like, oh yeah, it's gonna turn out great because we have a lawyer, we have the comfort. So honestly, it was the thought in the back of my head that, you know, we had lawyers that were on our side, and even if we had a negative response, they would fight for us. So that was the only thing that was keeping me optimistic for a really long time. I cannot recommend it enough. Seriously, I can't stress enough like how the personable aspect of it was probably the best part.
Yeah.
Just we feel like we really matter, and that was the best. Like, they really want us to be successful. They want the best for their clients, and that reassurance really felt great. It felt like, you know, I belong here. They want me to belong here.
Mm-hmm.
It was wonderful.